y'all, so I am hopping in halfway through filming these videos and reading the books for it when I realized that I did not put an intro on this video. So in this vlog, I am just reading romantasy books. There's no rhyme or reason to what I'm picking up. It's just me mood reading romantasy because that's the mood that I was in. So yeah, I don't have much to say. Let's just get into the books. So I'm about 100 pages into A Fate Inked in Blood, and I have the cover here. The book is in another room. I'm not going to go get it, so I'll just hold the cover up. That's all you need anyway. I'm about 100 pages in, and I feel like I'm having a pretty good time with this. Am I loving it? No, but I don't have any strong feelings towards dislike either. So, I mean, I guess I could say it's just kind of middle of the road for me right now. And it's kind of making me wonder if Danielle Jenson is the writer for me, because I don't know if it was last month or the month before, but I did read The Bridge Kingdom because I kind of wanted to. I was going to read that series before I got into this just so I could familiarize myself with the author, but I ended up giving that like 3.5 stars. I didn't dislike it, but I also didn't care enough about the series to actually want to continue. So I just didn't, and I jumped into this. And I do like this story, I think, a little bit more than I liked The Bridge Kingdom. This is interesting to me because I don't think I've ever read anything like Viking inspired or a Viking romantasy book. I think that's really cool, and it adds that edge of, something different for me. Our main character Freya, I do like her. She's very stubborn. She's very, badass. Like, she's a warrior and she's a fighter, and I like that about her. Like, she's not scared of these men, and period. And I really am liking her banter that she has with, oh shoot, what's his name? What's his name? Is it on the cover? Bjorn. There we go. That's his name, Bjorn. I like their banter. I think it's cute. I saw that some people were like icked out because they were saying like, oh, she's in a romance like with her stepson, and that's weird. First of all, that is not what this is. Like, dang, I feel like that's spoilery to actually like correct what they're saying, but that's not it. He's not her. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm just gonna say that that's not the case because I was a little worried about that, and I felt like it was gonna give me the ick too, and I was not gonna be able to even like go on in the book. But that's not what this is, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Just know that's not what this is. Now, am I loving this? I don't know, but I am interested to see how everything is going to play out and what's going to happen. And it's just so frustrating to see that Freya is fighting so hard and wants so much to be her own person, but she keeps encountering these men who feel like it's their job to decide her fate, and it's just so frustrating. And I want to fight with her. I'm like, girl, we gotta figure out how to break you out of this. But I'm ready to see what's happening, how this is going to end. I feel like from the reviews that I've heard around book 2 is that people really enjoyed the beginning and then kind of disconnected or fell apart, the more they got into it. So I'm hoping that's not the case for me. But yeah, I don't see this being a 5-star for me. It would completely shock me if it did, and it would be a welcome surprise, of course. But I think right now it's just sitting kind of middle of the road for me. excuse my allergies if I'm sniffing. I'm gonna try to cut it out because that's gross, but you know, life. So here we are. So I have finally, finally finished A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jenson, and I have thoughts, I think. So this book, I guess I'll start off by saying it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I liked it for the most part, but I don't know because I feel like I felt the same way that I did when I read The Bridge Kingdom. I didn't not like it. I actually liked it, but I didn't care. And I think that's the difference. Like you can like a book and care about the characters and get invested and, be in the world, but I have been feeling a disconnect, and this is with both of her series, and now I don't know what to do. Because as much as I liked Freya, and as much as, I wanted her to have what she wanted to have, and I was fighting with her in my head, like, don't let these men control you, like, yes, fight back, sis. And as much as she did get on my nerves, because at one point she just became very frustrating because she was just very like one track minded and what she wanted and how she wanted it. Like, even through that, I still did not care. It was so hard, like the middle section of this book, just pushing through that. And even though there was all kinds of crazy stuff happening and it was just action and back to back to back, I don't feel like the plot ever really fully lulled. But I just couldn't make myself care. And then that would be spoiler. I did figure out who the what did they call it? The traitor, the mole or whatever. I figured out who that was when it was first mentioned. And so I usually don't mind when I figure out plot twists and plot points before they are revealed because I feel like if they're done in a good way, I still could not, I still could enjoy it. Like with Feybound, I was figuring that stuff out before it happened, but I still enjoyed the book. But this, it was just like very underwhelming when it was revealed. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I did end up rating this a 3 star because, like I said, I liked it. And I mean, I think I would, I mean, and this would be something that I would recommend to other people, but I just don't know, like, I don't know if I care enough to continue on, but I kind of am like a little interested in what happens. And now I'm like stuck in the place like, do I want to unhaul this book? I know that people are really looking for these sprayed edges and they're out of print now, and I don't know. But I kind of want to keep it because I'm like, depending on the synopsis of the second book, I might be interested in continuing. I don't know what to do. Send help. But I felt like this book is heavy, so I'm gonna set it down. Like this is heavy. Anyway, but I felt this way about The Bridge Kingdom when I read it, and I'm like, that was a 3.5, and I thought the world was really cool and the romance was okay. It felt a little disconnected for me. I did believe Freya and Bjorn more. Um, and I did like their relationship a little bit more. But yeah, it's the reprint of the Bridge Kingdom for me because it got picked up traditionally, and I will insert the cover of the Bridge Kingdom, and that's making me like, do I need to get that? Like, do I need to continue on? Like, that cover is cute. I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like I need one more try. I usually give authors 3 books. And if you can't make me like you in 3 books, you don't need any more. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. I just don't know if I want to buy the Bridge Kingdom because I don't know. I don't know. The indecisiveness is hitting hard. I don't really know what to do. So, I think it was so frustrating and so sad to see Freya continually pick the people around her over herself and them not ever pick her. Like they're always, being selfish. And because Freya wasn't a selfish person, and I think she just really wanted to be loved and wanted to be accepted, that she just kept choosing other people who definitely were not choosing her first. And that was kind of sad to see. And everybody was just trying to use Freya, and she was trying to fight back, but sis was struggling. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about A Fate Inked in Blood. It's kind of disappointing though, because I felt like, and I feel like this with any book, I want to either love it or not even hate it, but like this, I just want strong feelings one way or the other. And I don't feel very mad about this book, and that's always the worst. I want to stop now because like anything else I say is just me rambling on, because I don't think I have any other thoughts about this book. So yeah. Disappointed isn't even the word right now. I don't know how to feel. I feel sad. I feel pissed off. Like I'm feeling all the things. And that is because the North Wind, I absolutely hated. There are no other words. Like I hated this book from the first page. I did. And I am not one for, negative reviews for the sake of negative reviews. And I was on the fence about whether I just wanted to take this book out of the video period and just not mention it, because I felt so strongly about it in a negative way, and I just don't want to be, known for that. But I gotta be honest. And hey, I was so excited to get into this book. I had it in my cart at Barnes and Noble for a couple of weeks, and I just was going back and forth about whether I wanted to buy it. So I hadn't picked it up yet, and then finally the library got it. So super excited. I'm like, finally gonna get to read it. I don't have to worry about buying it first. And I am so freaking happy. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus, for not allowing me to buy this book, because if I had bought this book and hated it from the first page like I did, I would have thrown it and ruined it, and I just would have been extra pissed off. And I feel like what's more disappointing is that this had all the things to be a 5-star for me, and I was just so sure that I was gonna love this book, and I was just hyping it up, and I was just talking about it all the time, and then it so I ended up pushing myself to read about 115 pages, so about 26% of this book, and I kept going for so long because I am like, okay, maybe it gets better, maybe it'll turn around. Like I wanted to like this book so much that I kept reading past the point that I normally would, just to see if something happens that makes me, like it. Even like I just wanted to like it. I didn't even care that I didn't love it anymore. I just wanted to like it, and I couldn't even like it. Ugh. So we opened the book, and I don't even know. Like, there are so many things that aren't explained. Like, I don't know. Let me stop, because I really don't want to turn this into a rant. Okay, so we have our main character, Wren. Wren is a twin, and they live in this village that has basically just been like iced over. They're really poor, they're struggling. Wren is taking care of her twin sister. She feels like she's too soft for the world, so she really uh babies her and hides her from the things that's actually going on. Wren is out hunting. Wren has done things like selling her body and just doing whatever she can to get money or food or whatever for them to stay alive, and that has turned her to drinking. So she's essentially an alcoholic. And so we have the Frost King. It's time for him to pick a wife to go back to his land or whatever, and they think he kills all his wives. They have a drawing, and Wren's sister ends up as one of the eligible ones. And during the dinner with the Frost King, something happens, and he ends up picking Wren's sister. And so they go back to the house and, pack up because he gives them a chance to, pack up, say goodbye. She drugs her sister and takes her place. And it goes from there, and she's supposed to be learning about this Frost King because she wants to kill him. Things are not as they seem, and so she is having to rewire like what she was taught and what was instilled in her from birth into what actually is. And of course, she's fighting at every step along the way. She's fighting with the Frost King. She's making people do things to get them in trouble and getting, into awful situations unnecessarily. And I think it's supposed to be slow burn enemies to lovers, but I just feel like I'm gonna have a hard time believing that when it did happen, just because of the things that happened in the pages that I already read. So yeah, it just wasn't for me, and I hate that so much because I was so sure that it was going to be. But yeah, that wasn't a good time, and I am sad about it. So yeah. Alrighty, I am now about 300-ish pages into Throne of the Fallen, and I am going to hold up this cover every time because you know what? The book is heavy. She is a brick, and I got bad wrists, and also this is just really pretty. So I mean, this is what I'm going to hold up. But anyway, 300 pages into this, I am having a good time. Envy is doing it for me. Camilla is doing it for me. I'm like, yeah, I like both of y'all. Yeah, this is good. So in Throne of the Fallen, we are following Prince Envy, which is one of the princes of hell, and he is in this game with the king of the Unseelie court, and basically his kingdom, his court is struggling, and they're all like losing their minds to this madness. So he is trying to protect his people by winning this game that's full of riddles and tests and all this craziness. And he's also trying to hide the fact that his people are in so much trouble, from his other brothers and from really everybody else in the Seven Circles, which is another name for hell. One of his clues leads him to Waverly Green, and that is where Camilla is. And Camilla is an artist who both of her parents have died, and she didn't really have much luck when she came out in society because her mom left her dad and then her dad died. So she kind of had like a tainted reputation before, she even tried to come out in society. And so she has taken over um, her father's art gallery, and that is how she's making her living and, doing her thing. And Envy needs something from her, and they become intertwined. And also, things with Camilla aren't exactly as they seem, so that's a mystery in itself. And they have this incredible banter, like from jump. I'm like, okay. And Envy is used to being able to manipulate people and, win. And Camilla is like, no, I ain't going. I'm gonna give it right back to you. And that makes Envy be like, oh shit, like I liked it. I like that. And I'm like, yeah, Envy, I like that too. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Camilla. So I am really enjoying their relationship now. if you don't like spice, if spice is not what you want, this is not what you want. Because not only is there spice, but just the way that they talk and the language that they use is very crude and very crass. And if that's not your thing, then I definitely do not suggest that you pick this up. But I will say, I tried reading this before I read Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I was just a little confused. And I felt like if I had pushed forward, I could have, grasped what was going on. So, no, you don't have to read the Kingdom of the Wicked series before you jump into this one. But I will say that it definitely gave me a lot of background, and I felt like I was really like, I knew what was going on, and you're like, I know these people, well, some of them anyway, besides the new characters. But I'm like, yeah, it just gave me like a little edge. But you can definitely read this without having read the Kingdom of the Wicked series, and I do like this better, way better than I liked Kingdom of the Wicked, because I wanted that to stay YA, and I feel like the plot got lost in Kingdom of the Wicked. But this right here is giving what I think she wanted to do with that series, but because it, whatever. I mean, yeah, I think this is definitely giving what it needs to give, and I am having a great time with this. The chemistry between Camilla and Envy is hitting for me. Like I said, their banter, their games that they play with each other, like it's just, I don't know who I want more. That's what it's giving. So, having a great time. I cannot wait to finish this. I still have probably close to 300 pages, because this is like, I think it's like 560-ish pages. So I still have a way to go, and I am excited. I will say that I am a little annoyed that they are dragging out this secret that Camilla has. We still don't know. And I'm over halfway through the book, and I'm just like, when are we going to find out? Like, you're dragging out a little too much for me. But I mean, we'll see when I get to the reveal if I think it was, worth the time that it's taking us to get there. We'll see. I hope so, because I am having a really good time with this, and I'm excited that I finally decided to pick it up. All right, y'all. So I am back, and I have, wait a minute, let me get it together. I have finished Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco, and y'all, like the way I ate this book up, this was so good. I had the best time. Now, was this long? Yes, this was just shy of 600 pages, and at first I was like, okay, I'm gonna think this is too long, but I didn't feel like that. I feel like there was a lot of story to get packed into this, and it makes sense when you think of the fact that they're standalones, but it'll be basically an interconnected standalone series following a different brother in each book. So, I mean, to get the whole story, you're gonna need a lot of pages. What I did love, of course, was Envy and Camilla. Like, they just ate for me. Like, their chemistry, their banter, the games they play with each other, their personalities. Like, I just loved everything now. I loved everything about them. Like, they gave. Yeah. So good. And then I know I was talking about the mystery that was surrounding Camilla's identity or whatever. And I was pissed off at first, because I told y'all I was 300 pages in and we still didn't know who or what she was. And then eventually we got this little baby reveal. And I was like, no, I am disappointed, to say the least. I'm pissed off. Like, I felt like the book was ruined for me at that point, because the reveal was so like, ugh. Like, I did not like it. I didn't like the way that it was revealed. I didn't like what it would like. No, but Kerri tricked us. She did, because then as we keep reading on, we found out more. So I was like, okay, that worked. I ate my words a little bit, because when she pulled out the second half of the reveal, I was like, okay, that's giving something at least, because that first part was nothing. So yeah, it was interesting to see how she did give us like the little pieces of it until you saw the whole picture. So that was cool, and I ended up liking that. So in this is the Barnes and Noble exclusive edition, and in this we get like an extra scene, and it's with Wrath and Amelia, and it involves knife play. And that was the first time I read anything dealing with knife play, and let's just say I didn't hate it. Let's just say that. It was very intriguing, to say the least. So, yeah, had a fun time. This ended up being a 4.5 star, easily one of my favorite books of the year. And I cannot wait for Throne of Secrets. I don't even know who it's following. I don't care. I just love being in this world that Kerri Maniscalco has been built out. I think she's done an excellent job. I love the chemistry that she can create between her love interests. Like Wrath and Amelia did it for me, but it got even better with Envy and Camilla. So yeah, I think you should definitely pick this up if you're questioning it. Alrighty, friends. So I am about 100 pages, about 25-ish% into the Red and the Holly Library, and I feel like I'm having a good time. Dang, I just put a fingerprint on my glasses. I'll clean it later. Anyway, I feel like I'm having a good time with this book. It definitely is a lot more, let's see, what's the word I'm searching for? It's definitely darker than what I was expecting. I opened it, and you open right up to not only an author's note, but also like trigger warnings. And I was like, okay, that definitely prepared me, because I feel like if I had just skipped over those, I would have felt some type of way. Not in a bad way, I just wouldn't have known what I was getting into. This is giving paranormal, this is giving for sure urban. It's set in New York City. We definitely have all of the creatures running through New York City, and even though it's definitely different than what I feel like I usually read, I am, I want to say I'm enjoying it, but I kind of feel bad by saying that, because our good sis, is it Kierce? She's having a rough time. She's having a time. So I feel bad saying I'm enjoying her having a bad time. But basically, this is about Kierce, and she is a thief. She's good at it. And this is what she's been doing since she was a child, because she was left out on the streets after her mom died in childbirth and her daddy just left her. So, she's been pickpocketing and thieving her whole life, and she's good at it. And so she's doing this job, and she ends up at a monster's house. And in this world, you have the humans and you have the monsters, and the monsters include the werewolves, the vampires, the nymphs, and a bunch of more creatures. And they signed this treaty basically so they can coexist and, not run through all the humans. And, but I think the treaty says if a human like trespasses on a monster's land or does something like that, they can just kill them and there are no consequences. So even knowing that, Kierce is still, taking on these jobs, stealing things, because she, that's how she's making her living. And she ends up in this house, and this house turns out that it belongs to a monster. but he does not kill Curse like she originally thinks. He offers her a job, and that job is the biggest job that Kier's has ever done, with the biggest payout that she would ever receive. So we are just getting to that point where, they're working out the terms of the job and she has decided to take it, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I'm at right now. And, I think I'm having a good time. The romance has not kicked in yet at the 25% mark. So I don't really know when we're going to see that, or even who the romance is going to be with, even though I think I have my own idea of where that's going to go. We're just kind of learning about the world, learning about Kier's, learning about our monster who is named Graves, and just really building the world and building out this environment so we kind of, know what's going on. I am excited to see how I feel about this because it's so different than what I, normally read. And I knew that going in, but now getting into it, it's even more different than I expected, if that makes sense. So I'm ready to see what I think about it. I hope I like it, but I don't know. We'll see. Friends, I have finished the Wren and the Holly Library, and I have thoughts. Okay. So this book, I keep talking about how different it is from what I usually read, and that's because it is. And I took a chance on this book, and I'm glad I did because I did end up enjoying it. I thought that the world was interesting. I do think that this book would have benefited from more world building and giving us more information about the lore, because essentially we found out everything as our main character Kier's found out, and it kind of like didn't make the reveals as good for me because you didn't really understand what kind of information was being dropped. Because there would be a reveal and Kirsten would be like, okay, so what does that mean? And because we only know what Kirsten knows, I'm also like, what they mean. So, yeah, I feel like if we had had that background and had that information beforehand, it would have made some of the reveals much more revealy. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it just would have made it more impactful. Yes, English words. There we go. Also, I feel like a lot of the things that happened and a lot of the plot points were very convenient. And that kind of like dampened it a little bit for me because what's the point of getting our characters into these risky situations where we don't know what's going to happen if they're just going to be conveniently taken out of them every time? You know? Like, there's no suspense really, because after the first two times that happens, when any kind of situation comes up or any kind of, whatever, that they're going to get out of it. So it's like, okay, thanks, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't. Yeah, things were very convenient and kind of carefully placed. And a lot of things were kind of obvious, but not really like explained. So I'm hoping that with this being a series, the second book really explains more of what is happening, or why, more so why these things are happening. The romance in this book ended on a weird note for me, and maybe it's just being drawn out because it is a series, so they didn't want to give us everything from jump. But I just think it ended in such a weird place, and I don't know if I liked it or not. Because as I was, flipping through the last pages, I was like, mm, I don't know that I like where this is going. And then once it ended, I was like, what? That's it? That's all you're gonna give me? But I don't want you to think that I didn't like this book, because I did. So I ended up rating this a 3.5. I do plan on continuing in the series because I want to see which direction K.A. Linde takes it in. But yeah. Yeah, I still think it's worth picking it up though. So, and that is all the books that we will be reading in this vlog. So let's do a quick recap just to talk about everything and wrap it up. So, first off, we read A Fate Inked in Blood, and that ended up being a 3-star for me. I enjoyed it, but I was definitely left wanting more from that book, and I probably will continue on in the series just to see how it goes. And then we read The North Wind, which happened to be the biggest disappointment of the year for me so far. This was a book that I was certain with all caps that I was going to love, and I ended up not liking it at all. I actually kind of unfortunately hated it. We have Throne of the Fallen, and that was a 4.5. It's going on my list of best books of the year. I am super excited that I finally got around to reading this. I just had the best time. Love Camilla, love Envy. Yes. And then we have The Wren in the Holly Library, and that ended up being a 3.5-star for me. And it was interesting. It definitely had some things that kind of threw me off, but overall, I had a good time. Plan to continue on in the series. Really interested to see what direction this goes in. And yeah, that's all the books I read. I had a great time reading romantasy in this vlog, and I just want to thank everyone for being so nice to me. Like, some of the comments I get just really warm my heart and like bring me to tears. And y'all know the internet is a scary place, but the love that I have received so far, it just, I can't. And I just thank y'all so much for just being nice people and being encouraging. And I can't wait to continue on and make new videos and just, keep building this community. So, with all of that being said, thanks for watching this video. Have a great day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.